Hello world, welcome back to CyberCreed. Today in this video, we are going to see how you can basically take a screenshot of your current window or what you are doing and then store it inside a file. And once like you have 5 to 10 screenshot available in your folder, then you can basically send those file as an email to the mail that you want. So here we are basically going to learn two things. How we can basically take screenshots in Python, as well as how we can send attachment of multiple emails or attachment of multiple images into one mail and then basically send it there. So this video is going to be very much interesting, and creating this video takes lots and lots of time and effort to code the solution out. So it will be great help if you just subscribe to our channel and like this video. So with that said, let's start this video. So the first thing that we should always do when creating any type of programs or some type of solutions like this, we should try to figure out what are the steps that we need to do in order to create or achieve our goal. Or you can basically say that first of all, we have to whiteboard our solution, like what are the steps that are needed to be taken first and what should come later. So in this solution, the first thing that we need to do is to take a screenshot. So how you can basically, so let me write down the procedure. So the first step is to take a screenshot. So I will just write a screen here. And once the screenshot is taken, what we need to do, we need to store this screenshot in some sort of directory or some type of files, so that it is at one place, because we are going to capture multiple screenshots of the people, what they are doing. So the second thing that we have to keep in mind is of saving the file inside a directory. So we have to basically save it inside a directory. So save it inside a directory. So let me draw this directory. I am not good at drawing, but here we can see that first of all, we have to take the screenshot, create a directory, then we have to save the image. And once that is done, now comes the next and most interesting part, that is to grab all the images from this directory and then send mail. So send mail. So this is just, you can say, a type of flowchart that we basically want to do or we must do before creating any complicated programs like this. So here are the 3 steps. It looks simpler on the face value, but you can see that when we are going to code out, it is going to be more and more trickier. So first of all, let's start coding our solution by looking at how we can take the screenshot in the Python. So let me show you. So here you can basically see that I have imported bunch of libraries. Some of the libraries you might know and some of the libraries you won't. So the first thing that I have imported is OS. So what does OS do? It allows us to create directory, remove files, and basically do everything that we can do with our operating system in just command line. So that is going to be used for that. And then we have imported PyScreenshot. So in Python, it has been made very easier to take a screenshot. What you need to do, just use this library and you can just capture a screenshot using this library. So we have imported that. Then I have used from time import sleep, that is just to sleep our code. If we want to delay the screenshot, let's say we want to take a screenshot after every 5 minutes or after every 10 minutes. So we can use the sleep method, sleep till then, and once the time is there, you can basically capture the screenshot. So that is used for that. And then here, in this case, we are going to take a screenshot whenever someone is going to click his mouse. As I have created the previous video of the keylogger, where we were listening to the key strikes and we were grabbing all the keys that the user have basically typed and then sending the mail. Then here, in the similar way, we are just listening to the mouse click, and once the mouse click occurred, then we are basically capturing the screenshot. So if you haven't watched the previous video of creating the keylogger where we were listening the keys, please go and check it out. The video will be up in this corner. You can basically watch it after you are done watching it, or you can just watch it previously. It does not matter, but let's move forward. Then we have imported threading. So threading is also very important. So threading is only going to give us access to do multiple of things inside our program at the same time. We are going to explore this in a bit, but for time being, let's know that threading is basically a library in Python that allows us to run multiple sub functions together. So what threading is going to do, if you are using thread and you have two functions, let's be very specific or very small to understand the things. So you have one function known as add and you have one function known as subtract. Both of them you want to run at the same time in just the same split of second. Then what we can do, we can use threading. So we can we already know that our operating system are multi-threaded. That means they have multiple of the threads inside them. So what we can do, we can use that function of multi-threading, and we can run one function on one thread, one function on other thread, and both of them are going to run parallelly. So it is basically it in threading. Running multiple functions simultaneously is known as threading in simple words. Then we have initialized one global variables. So global variable, we have declared global variable because we are going to use them throughout our program, and you know that global variables can be accessed throughout our entire program. So we have used global variable here. Then we have told the path. So what is the path? So here we are going to create the path known as screenshot. Means we are going to check if the screenshot folder exists or not, and if the folder exists, then what we are going to do, we are all going to just save the screenshot inside that folder. But if in case when you are going to run this program for the very first time, you won't be having any screenshot folder. So in that case, this is going to create a folder for us. So we are going to see. So there are some global variables that we are going to take a look once we reach there. But for time being, let's look at this take screenshot function. So take a screenshot function is written to just take the screenshot, save it inside the directory that we have told. So as you can see, take a screenshot, take the input as path. So path is going to be the directory path where we want to save our screenshot. So if you are making a keylogger, so here in this case we are just saving it inside same folder where the keylogger is available. But just think, if you are making it a real keylogger, you won't do it or save inside the same folder where you have downloaded your file. You will be saving inside some of the temp directory or some of the hidden directory inside his system. So you can just edit this path and you are going to get there. So that is why I have basically created a variable. So once the path is done, we are using the global image number. So image number, why we are using image number? So let's just say we have grabbed the first screenshot. So we are going to name it as 1, then second screenshot 2, third screenshot 3rd, like that. So just for the numbering sake, so that every screenshot are differentiated, we are going to use this image number so that every images have different numbers on them. So this function py screenshot.grab is going to just take the screenshot of it. So whatever is the current state of your machine, it is going to take the screenshot, and the screenshot is going to be saved inside the variable known as image. So image will be captured. So this is basically going to take the screenshot of the image and it is going to be saved inside the image variable. So here till here I think everything is clear. Then here we are giving what is the name of the file that it should be saved with. So you have captured the screenshot. The next thing is absolutely going to be saving the image. So what we have done, we have declared the path. So the path is going to start from .screenshot, which is going to tell this save it here inside this screenshot folder. Then name the file screenshot underscore and the image number. Okay, let me just close it. So image number, as we have already initialized it at 0, the first screenshot that it is going to capture will be named 0. So here we are basically typecasting this to string because we know that we cannot add integer and string together. So that is why we have to typecast this number to a string so that it can be added together. Then we are just giving the file name extension as .png. So the screenshot is going to be saved with this name and inside the directory that we have specified in the path variable. So till here we have just given the path name or the file name that we need to save. Then here we are doing the actual saving. We are just simply passing the file path and it is going to save there. And then we are just incrementing our file number so that once the next time the image is going to come, it is going to be labeled 1 greater than that. So first time it will be 0, next time it will be 1, 2, like a screenshot 1, screenshot 2, screenshot 3, and it will go on and so forth. So this function is basically going to do that, and I hope that you understood this function clearly. And then what we are going to do, we have created this function clean directory. So why we need this? So just think that you are basically taking multiple screenshots of the user and you are going to send it via mail, but you don't want that person to discover that you have been taking the screenshot from so long. So what we are doing in this program is that once like we have sent 10 to 15 screenshots to us, we are just deleting the first 10 to 15 screenshots so that his computer don't run out of space of taking a screenshot, and he is not able to discover that we have been taking a screenshot for so long. So that is why we have written this function. So what this function is going to do, first of all, we have to specify the path in which our screenshots are. So we already have seen that it is already defined in the path variable. Then we are opening this file. So for file in os.listdir. So what this command do, so if you are familiar with Linux or Windows command prompt, if you write ls, so let's write ls, you can see all the files inside this. So it is list directory. So it is going to list each and every file inside the current directory where it is present. So it is going to just list all the screenshots that are available there. So once we got the screenshot name, it is just going to be the screenshot name, not the path. So we have to specify the path where the screenshot is, then add it to the file name so that it contains the complete path of that image. We are not inside the image or screenshot directory that we can simply use os.delete to delete it. So let me show you an example. So if we want to delete something that is present in some other directory, we need to say rm, okay, not here. So inside terminal we see rm, and then here we specify the path of the directory that we want to delete. So if you are going to give the root directory, it is going to start from / and whatever path that you want. So in that same way, it is going to give the complete path of the image, and then we are going to perform the delete operation. And once it have done deleting the file, we are just simply printing file cleaned, means all the screenshots are deleted. But this is just for debugging purpose. Please don't use this print statement when you are going to compile a keylogger into some exe or things like that, because you don't want the user to see like what the hell is happening here, why this things are printing like that. So you should be aware this is just for debugging purposes. So once we have written two functions, first to take a screenshot and save it inside directory, and second to just clean all the screenshots that were taken. Then here comes the most interesting part. So here we have to remember that when we are going to save the screenshot, once the user have clicked the button, so there are multiple of times then you can basically save a screenshot when user have right clicked, when user have left clicked, but here we are going to see when user have basically left clicked, then we are going to take the screenshot. So with the listener object of the mouse, you are going to get the function that is going to provide you that what is going to happen when you are doing click. So let me just go to this. So just ignore this report for now. So here we are creating a listener of which is basically going to listen to our mouse. So whenever we are going to click on mouse, this is going to listen. So here we have told from the listener class that we have already imported, if you pay close attention. So from pyinput.mouse import listener. So it is the listener of mouse class, so which is going to listen to whatever actions we are performing with our mouse. So we are just opening it, and we are using on click. So there are multiple functions available with this mouse, because we can do scroll, we can do left click, right click. So all those functions are already available here. But the things that we are interested in is on click. So we have just used on click. So it is telling once the user on click, what action is needed to be taken. So we have created the function name on click. So this is why this on click and this on click name should be same. If you just name it as click, then the above function name should also be click. But this on click variable which we are initializing it should always remain same, because it is already predefined in our system. So we are opening this listener class. So we are going to listen it with the name of listener. So we are opening this as a listener. Then we are using this report function. So what this report function is going to do? So this report function is the function that is going to be sending the mail. So it is basically going to report us back with all the screenshot and all the things that we want to get from the user to us. So this is for that. Then we are just starting this listener with listener.join, which is going to start our listener. So before moving forward, let's see this report function. So in report function, till now we have just declared some global variables like path and interval. So path we already know is the path of the screenshot folder, and the interval what it is. So let's say you want to get the mail after every 10 minutes or 20 minutes. So that is the interval. So how much time you want your mail to be sent to you. So it is preferred that you keep it somewhere around 5 to 10 minutes, so you can have more and more data. Then we are basically going to have a look at sending mail function. Then we will jump here. We are going to just simply import it, and we can simply use it here. But for time being, we are just showing mail sent, which we are going to import in just a bit when we are going to have a look at our mail sending Python file. So once the mail is sent, we are cleaning our directory. So we are just deleting each and everything that is present inside our directory. Then here we are using the concept of recursion, which is going to call this function again and again. That is why it is going to run till eternity, because we need to listen to that mouse clicks for eternity once it is installed in the computer system. So it is going to do that. So that is with our that is with our basically screenshot function, which is going to capture the screenshot, save into the file, as well as delete the files. Now let's move on and see how we can send email as an attachment to user, and then we are going to implement that logic inside this code of the report function to send mail to us. Then we are going to see how beautiful does it looks. So let's move on and see this mail sending function. So here also you can see lots and lots of imports. So some of the import things that you might be familiar with if you have ever used sending mail function is import smtplib. So what does smtplib do? It basically create a connection between you as well as the SMTP server, which is basically the server used for sending mails. It is going to be used for that. And then here we have image HDR. So image HDR is responsible for knowing what is the extension of the image that you have captured. So we are going to take a look why we need it. Then here we have from email.message import email message. So why we are using this? So email message provides us a very good interface of just giving it all the file in the most simplest way possible. So it is going to give us access of writing a beautiful email address, subject, from, to, sending attachment, and each of those things like that. So we are going to have a look in a bit. Then we are importing JSON. So why we are importing JSON here? That's a very good question if you have ever asked. And we are loading some of the files. So if you think you are writing a code of sending mail, so when we are going to write a function of send mail, we always need to specify our email ID as well as email password. So what we need to do, we don't just want to send our or simply type our email ID and password in our program. That is going to be disastrous. So what we can do, we can simply write our email ID and password in some other files. So what I have done here, in credentials.json, I have simply created a credentials.json file inside the same directory where my Python files are present. So this thing you have to keep in mind. So if you see here, we have the credentials in the same directory. And here I have stored my email address and password. So here you can basically write email and your password. So here is the email field where you have to enter your email, and this program is basically meant for the Gmail. And if you are going to use Gmail, you should make sure that your less secure app are basically ticked on, or else you are not going to be able to send mail through the Gmail. And then you have the password, so you can basically enter your password here. I'll be entering my email and password, so that you cannot see, of course, and you can just ignore giving this credentials.json file to any other people. You can just simply state that just create the credentials.json file, and then this program is going to run. So that is for that. So we are importing JSON, then we are loading the credentials file. So first of all, we are opening it, and we are opening it inside the variable known as f. So f now contains our JSON file. So f is basically object of JSON. Now we are loading the JSON inside our data. So now data contains a dictionary. So data is basically a dictionary if you know about Python. So or if you are familiar with Java, it is basically a dictionary, or HashMap if you are familiar with that. Then so how we can basically access the credentials.json? So we can simply say data and the key of the value that we want. So we want the value of email which is stored with the key. So this is basically key. Email is basically key, and your email at the rate gmail.com is basically the value. So once we specify the key, we are going to get the value of it. So email address is going to contain our email address, and email password is going to contain our email password. So I think till here everything is clear, everything is fine. There is nothing much or critical going on here. So if I want to just simply show you how it is going to work, so I will just clear my screen, run Python and mail. So here you can basically see that your email at gmail.com and your passwords are basically printed. We are basically getting the values of those variables. So now that is done. Now let's move ahead and see how we can basically send the mail as an attachment, or how we can basically send mail for that case. So first of all, we have to create the object of our email message. So that is for sure, because we have imported this class. And then here is a very easy way. Just as we use dictionary, we have to just initialize the values. So first of all, so this can be in any order. This does not need it to be same, but you have to mention all of them. So subject, you can just mention the subject by writing, so this must be same. Then you can write whatever subject that you want. Here we are just saying that keylogger have started. And then from email address means from where you want this mail to be sent from. So it is basically going to be your email address. And then to, so in to also, if you are creating this as a purpose of the keylogger, then of course you are going to use it for with your own email address. So here also you can mention your email address, but here we are just using some temp mail email address. So you can use any, but just to show you how it is going to work, we are just using this temp mail. Now here is the content of the message that we are working with. So just the simple content of the message. Then just ignore this file for now. So here, let's see what we are trying to do. Here in my directory, if you see, there is an image of an hacker here in the same directory with the name of hacker.jpeg. Then what we are going to do, we are just opening the image, and we are opening the image in binary format. So here we have told open this image as read binary. So we are reading the binary from it, and we are naming it as file. Then we are simply reading it inside file data is equal to file.read. So here we are basically reading our image, and here we are checking what is the extension of the image. So what like it is it JPG, it is PNG, it is JPEG, or what type of format is it? So we are simply going to read the file type here, and the next thing, that is absolutely the file name. So what is the name of the file? So it is of course going to be the same as the file name. So here in this case it will be hacker. So now once we have got the image, got the file name, got the file extension, the next thing is to set this object as an attachment. So what we are going to do, we are saying message.add attachment. So we are adding this file as an attachment, and the data of the file, so file.data is going to contain the file. So as you can see that inside the file data we have our image, and here we are going to say what type of data is it. So in main type, we are basically specifying what type of data. We can basically send PDF, exes, or any files like that. We can just Google it out, like for sending PDFs or sending exes, you can get it very easily. So here we are working with image, and that is why here we are specifying image. And then here we are specifying subtype, like of course it is image, but then again in image there are multiple subtypes. So what type is it? So for that only we have used this file type, because we cannot simply assume what file types user have given. So that is why we always use this image HDR to get the file extension. So subtype is going to get the file type, then the file name. So of course we have got the file name inside our file name variable. So this is going to add our image as an attachment, going to provide all the extension of the image, going to provide each and every details of the image that is basically required to be sent to us or to any user. So once image is also attached, so now our message is basically complete. Like you can say, if you are doing it customly, you have basically typed the head, you have basically uploaded the image, you have done everything. Now is the time to set the connection from the server and to send the mail. So there are multiple of ways to send mails. So some of them are pretty easy, and here I just wanted to show a different approach of sending mail. If you know this, then of course it is okay. But So here we are just opening the connection. So smtp lib is the library that we have imported. If you have seen here, smtp lib, which is going to establish a connection. Then what we are going to do, then we are using smtp underscore ssl, which is basically going to create an SSL connection to our server, which is basically secure, so that our data don't get leaked if someone intercepts it in the middle. And we are providing the SMTP address of the Gmail. So this is for Gmail. If you are using any other mail provider, you can use their SMTP server address as well as their port. So for Gmail, it is 465, and for your own hosting provider, it may be something different. You can just look up on what is the port number and you will find it easily. It's not that hard, just one Google search away. And we are creating it as the object of SMTP. Then we are simply logging in. We are just with the single line, we are logged in inside our email. Then we have to just send this message. So if you remember, we use send mail, but here we are sending message because we have everything inside the form of object. So here we are just using smtp.send message, which is going to send this message to us. Now let's try to run this code and see whether it is working or not. So for the testing purpose, let's try to open our Firefox browser and just let's have a look at some of the temporary mail, and we can simply check if it is working fine or not. So if I write Firefox, it is going to open Firefox for us. So let's wait for it. So here we are opening our temp mail, and from here we are going to just copy the email address that is provided by our temp mail, and we are going to paste it inside our code so that we can simply see that if our mail program is working or not. So let it load. So yes, here we have got our temp mail. I have simply copied it to my clipboard. Now let's move on to our code and just simply paste our address here. So to address. So now it is all done. Now let's clear our screen. Now we are going to send this mail with the hacker's image as an attachment, and then we are going to see how we can extend this to send multiple images, not just single one, because inside the keylogger we need to send multiple of images that you should never forget. So let's run this code and let's see how it is going to play off. So it is going to take a bit of time because of course the username and password did not match. So let me just enter my username and password, and I will meet you once it is done. So yes, I have entered my username and password. So if your username and password are not correct, it will give some error like this. So I'm just clearing my screen, running the code again, and now hopefully it should work fine. So let's wait. The file size of this image is at least 2 MB. So it might take a while to send this mail. So it is basically going to be dependent on the image size as well as the internet connection that you have to send the mail. So you can see that our program have finally finished sending the mail. Now let's move on and check if we have received the mail inside this temp mail or not. So yes, you can see that the email of mine, keylogger, have started. So this is basically the subject of our mail. And here you can see that this is a plain text. So here you can see that we have attachment. Okay, yes, so it actually provide, but it is hidden here. So you can see that we have received the hacker.jpeg. So if I simply download it, you will be able to see that we have the file, the same file that we have inside our directory. So hackers.jpeg. So if I just open, you can see that it is the same file that we have sent. So this is how you can basically send a single image, but now we need to do something trickier. We need to send file in multiple batches. So for that, what we can do, it is pretty simple, more simple than you can basically imagine. So if we need to send multiple images, we have to just use for loop. So let's say for images in what? If you remember, inside creating files, we were deleting files after going to a certain directory. So in the same way, what we can do, we can just move to our clean directory. So this is the same loop that we are going to use. So in os.list directory of path, so let's copy this, paste it here, but we should also remember that we need to import os. Then it is going to move through the path that we have specified it, and then it is going to send us the mail. So let's try it. So what we need to do? So we need to just grab all the with statement inside this for loop, and we have to add this as an attachment too. So let's just use a tab to put it inside, and we have to add every single image. So this attachment should also be inside our for loop because we are adding multiple of images here. So this is how simple it is to go from single image to multiple image. We are going to go through all the directory or all the files, then we are simply going to add each and every image that are present inside it as an attachment, and then it is going to be sent. So now I think everything is done. So let's remove this file variable for now, or I think we don't actually need it. So now it is complete. Now we need to integrate this code with our create file method to send us the collection of images as a mail. So what we can do? So it is going to be very simple. Let's do it. We cannot just pass the path here, or we can do. So this is not a good practice, but it may be easier practice. So what I can do, I can just simply copy this path variable here, simply paste it here, and voila, we are done. Though I would highly recommend you to just use the object oriented approach. We are going to do this in this way because of just lack of time. We are already surpassed like 25 minutes or so. So we are going to use this quick and dirty approach. But if you are a bit serious about it, please make a class of it, and thus it will be easier to just migrate from one code to other. So here, what we have to do, we have to just import this file, the mail logger.py, inside this file. So what we need to do, we need to just say import what we need to import. So we have to import mail logger. So okay, so let me write hello GGER dot. Okay, so we don't mention the file extension, just the logger. Now it is going to import the file if it is present inside the same directory where you are coding in. So I think till here everything is fine, but we are missing something. So let me tell you what. If we are simply going to call this, there is no function here. It is simply going to run without any function. So how we are going to call it? For calling anything, we need a function. So we can just grab it inside, let's say, run function. So let's grab all the content here. So just first let's write a function def, let's say call us send mail. So send mail. So this function is basically called send mail, and it is not going to take any parameter for now, but you need to make it parameter ready. But here we are just doing easy and dirty work, but you should consider creating it more and more properly. So this function is going to just simply open the file that we have mentioned and do all the things which are already mentioned. So once it is done, we need to save this, and we need to just call this function in our code. So instead of just importing mail logger, we can just say from mail logger, from mail logger import send mail. So that we can just write send mail, and the function is automatically getting called. So here let's first try to see how the code works without sending the mail, because sending mail is going to take a bit more time. So if I run this file python create, so it is just small create py, so it is now it is listening for my mouse. So it is saying that no directory screenshot. So here we are getting error because we have never created the screenshot directory. So this is how you learn to debug. So I should just uncomment this out. So now here we are going to check if it is inside our screenshot. So if so here we are going to check if we have the directory name as screenshot or not, so the path that is there. And if it is not there, then we need to create it. So that is what we are going to do here, how it is going to play off. So we have just cleared the screen. Now let's run this code python So now a screenshot folder is created. Now we just clicked on the screenshot and you can see that one screenshot is already taken. Now let's minimize it, and the screenshot is taken. We clicked again, another screenshot is taken. So here in this code, it is going to keep on taking the screenshot. So let me just open like something like this, and let's see if all the screenshots are present here. So this is the file where I am coding in. So this is just the case. So now let's have a look at this screenshot folder. So if you see, so this is a screenshot. Once we have opened that, and we are going to see a screenshot of each and every file, and the time interval that we have provided here. So let me just increase the size, is basically 30 seconds if I am right. So yes, it is 30 seconds. So after every 30 seconds, it is basically going to send us the mail, and it is going to keep on listening. And once the 30-second time limit is reached, it is going to send the mail to us. So for the timing, we are just simply printing mail sent. But now let's add the functionality of sending the mail as multiple of the files are captured. So I will just stop this by pressing Ctrl Z to stop it, and I will just clear my screen. So as you can see at the last, we have just very simple this code that we have already opened, files. So I will just simply delete this directory for now, move to thresh. And now we need to add this mail functionality. So we have already imported this send mail, so we just need to call this function. So I will just copy this. I will just remove the empty spaces that we have here. Inside report, we simply need to call this send mail. So let's check if this send mail is here. So yes, it is here. So now let's try to run our code and let's see if multiple of images are sent to us or not. So let's try to run this file. Now a screenshot folder is created. Let's click the screenshot, and one screenshot should be taken. So yes, it is working. Now let's open file, and we have opened let's say worker, screenshot is taken, and let's say app, it is done. So for now we are just going to limit it just for 9 images, or let's say 10 images, because we don't need to bombard, or just we don't need to basically spam the temp mail server too. So we are just going with simple 10 images, and let's just wait for 30 seconds in which it is going to report that mail is basically sent, when it is going to report mail sent. So let's wait for that. I have done one mistake, and that mistake is basically terrible, which is I have basically used this loop. So let's just first close this connection. I have used this loop, but I haven't used this variable. So some of you who might know programming must have spotted this. Sorry from my side. I will just paste it here. And now I think everything is ready to go. So let's, for convenience sake, we should just print the name of the file for which we are going to send the mail. So let's use f-string. So let's use this curly bracket image. So images sent, something like this. So now let's try to run our code. So I will just clear it. Now let's run the code again. I think I spotted the error, and the error here was it is trying to search inside the same directory where the image is already present. So that is not the case. We have to also specify the path. So here I have to write, let's say, path plus the images, so that it get the absolute path from the directory where we are in to the file location where we want the images to be sent. So let's just clear the screen and let's see if it is working or not. Yes, so it is working. So I just so as it is working, I have simply closed the code. So we just now simply need to run this create file. Now we have fixed every bugs in our code, and now is the time to send it to us. So one more thing that we can do here, as we can see that once before the file is even created, there are bunch and bunch of screenshots already left. that we might need to get as an email, or you can also add to just remove everything in the starting. We can just simply call else here and just delete everything, but we need to get those screenshots, so I have done that. So now if I run Python, okay, not here, here Python, then create file.py, and now let's try to run it. So let me click here. This much screenshots are already sent. Let's just wait for it to establish the connection, collect more screenshot, and then we will see that if it is working perfectly fine or not. Once we have bunch of email that are going to be received here. So can we delete the mail? So here also you can see this attachment symbol, which means this contains attachment, and the first image is not going to contain any attachment. But in this case, as we have already some images inside our mail, and that is why here you can see that there is a download option, because we have some mail here. So let's go back again and wait for our code to send us the new screenshot. So it is going to tell that screenshot is sent, and it have cleared the screenshot, and again you can see that 1 and 2 are automatically going to start on coming. And if you can see here, let's just close our program, as it is going to keep on taking screenshot, and I don't want to bombard my system with a screenshot. So screenshot sent, and you can see that till 20 screenshot were simply sent, and here it was basically taken. So we expect at least 5 to like, let's say this much of screenshot in our email. So let's open the email. So here you can see that keylogger have started. This was the last mail that we got, and this contains attachment. So here if we click on attachment, we can see that there are multiple images that we can simply download and have a look. So this was all for this tutorial, and I know that this code is not 100% error free, or it is not 100% perfect. You can make it more and more perfect with adding class, object oriented programming, using proper variables, and much more steps. But for a beginner, this much was enough. So you can basically keep on improving it, and you can keep on adding more features here. And this was all for this video, and I hope that you must have enjoyed this video. I have already enjoyed it, creating it. If you did, please make sure to subscribe to our channel, and very thanks for watching till the very end, and I will meet you in the next one. And if you want some specific type of video to be created, please don't forget to mention inside the comment section, and I just read each and every comment, and I also answer each and every comment that you have. And I often create video on the topics that you are interested in. That's what my duty is. So thanks for watching. Meet you in the next one.